Welcome to the Western Gate,
to the Sunshine State, where thousands live the way millions
wish they could.
At the dawn of the 21st century, Pensacola, Florida, with its rich history, was poised to celebrate its 450th anniversary. Then, disaster struck. September 16th, 2004. Hurricane Ivan. The storm's 130-mile-per-hour winds, heavy rains, and 12-foot storm surge wreaked havoc and left thousands homeless. The storm exposed the poverty in the community as Rebuild Northwest Florida tried to repair and rebuild homes. It also was the genesis of the Community Maritime Park, as 3 visionary leaders joined together to revitalize the city and restore its spirit with a project that would pull all of its people together. Admiral Jack Fetterman envisioned a Maritime Museum on the nearly 30 acres of waterfront property across from City Hall, though he was concerned with the lack of infrastructure around the location. Businessman Quint Studer saw not only a ballpark for his Pensacola Pelicans, but also a multi-use facility on the waterfront that the entire community could enjoy. John Kavanaugh, the president of the University of West Florida, saw the importance of a university presence downtown on the waterfront. Together with Mayor Emeritus Vince Wibbs, they envisioned a public-private development that would include a museum, a conference center, a beautiful waterside amphitheater, and the stadium, a showplace not only for sports, but also for festivals, concerts, theater, celebrations, and more.
These individuals came together, Quint Studer, Admiral Fetterman, Vince Wibbs, Dr. John Kavanaugh, met with City Manager Tom Bonfield, and the synergy they created really brought us out of Hurricane Ivan with an exciting project that can bring the community together as a beacon of hope.
And like all of us, we were just trying to recover, and Jack and the city and Quint Studer were instrumental in making that happen.
We knew after Hurricane Andrew what Miami and Homestead did in rebuilding their community. They picked a central project that would excite the community and were very successful in going forward.
So Jack threw himself into this project. He believed it was the right thing not only for the Aviation Museum, which is his first love, but the right thing for the community.
What made the Community Maritime Park really attractive to city leaders was that no tax dollars would be used to pay for it. The site was in the CRA, the Community Redevelopment Agency District, a special downtown area where a portion of its taxes go into a special fund designed to help revitalize downtown.
The property in the downtown core will actually be the only properties that fund this park, while the city has stepped up to back these bonds so that we could get a lower interest rate. All of the bond payments will come from the Community Redevelopment Agency.
The Maritime Park was a real rallying cry for young adults or young professionals in this community. It showed that leaders cared, they wanted to hear from us, and that they wanted us to stay in this community.
Whether you're a majority company or a minority company, there was a covenant with community that said everybody was going to be included, and there would be an inclusion document called the Covenant with Community that made an opportunity available for everyone in our community.
I think one thing you've seen with regard to this whole effort is how all of our community has come together. Black, white, rich, poor, everybody's going to have something at this park that they can enjoy.
In 2005, Quint Studer, Admiral Fetterman, and Jack Kavanaugh, former president of UWF, came together and they presented a potential project plan to the City of Pensacola City Council. And from that plan, we took it out into the community and said, you know, again, we need something for downtown. We need a place for our young people to go, to be able to look better for economic development attraction. And then they asked the community, okay, now we've gone to our government officials and presented this idea. Let's ask you guys what you want.
They selected a world-renowned designer, Ray Gendros, Urban Design Associates, and they brought Ray in to start listening to the community, to hear about the needs of the community, and then to put together the ideas and create a project that not only was world-class, that met all the needs of the different various partners, but also was what our community wanted. The Community Maritime Park project has evolved to the design we have today from various reasons. First of all, we have received input from our master developer with his planners and his planning team looking at not only aesthetically and functionally how it works, but also economically. How do we create a center for the community that is vibrant and alive and active, but it can also generate revenue?
Let me tell you about the commitments that Quinn has made in this project. He's donated $2.25 million to the Maritime Museum. He wanted to put it in the stadium, but he put it in the Maritime Museum because it could get doubled. He's committed $1,750,000 in a 10-year lease for the use of the stadium. He's committed all annual profits from the baseball team, a minimum of $250,000 a year for 5 years, will go to the CMPA. He is committed to build an office building that will be $12 million, create jobs in its construction, be a beacon to attract companies to our community because we offer space, and will create a tax roll that will benefit the CRA.
It really is an unusual, one-of-a-kind agreement. We've never seen a sports owner wanting to sign a 10-year lease guaranteeing the revenues, guaranteeing profits from the company back to the entity that runs the stadium. And in looking at the agreements around the country, especially for affiliated baseball, no one has those types of agreements. Many communities, they build a stadium without having a team, and then they go out and basically give that stadium to the team to come and relocate to their community. We're fortunate we have the team in Pensacola that wants to come here and really has gone so far above and beyond anything that's usual and customary in these types of arrangements. No one would make that deal. Absolutely no one would make that deal.
I do enjoy a good old style. I don't watch most of them. I watch the original series. That's fine. 3, 2.
Working with the referendum was exciting because we got our first glimpse into what the park was really had the potential of being. It was exciting to get the public feedback going door to door and really see firsthand the public excitement and the need for a project like this.
I think for the first time the referendum signaled to young professionals, people like Christine Carson and Ashley Hodge and Reed Russian and Lumen May, that one person could make a difference, that you didn't have to have money or influence or even name recognition to make a difference. All you really had to do was just get involved.
The design of the Maritime Park has been guided by these principles. Provide a focus of civic life for the entire city. Build a keystone that brings together diverse communities. Bring the waterfront to the city and the city to the waterfront. Celebrate Pensacola's unique character and history. Balance public uses with private development. Create an active waterfront with a diverse range of uses. And provide buildings with uses that animate the public spaces.
The partners that they had, Hatchmont McDonald, HKS Architects, which is the stadium architect, Sasaki Associates, which is a landscape architect company out of Boston. They recently did the Beijing Olympic Green. Just the best of the best came together for a project in Pensacola, Florida. So you scratch your head sometimes thinking why these world-renowned companies would want to spend this time here on 30 acres when they're doing thousands of acre projects around the world in the leading cities of every nation. And they gave us the time, the effort, and expertise as they would anyone, and it really resulted in a great product.
It's been exciting to see how many people really want this project to happen despite all of the troubles we've had and how slow it seems to have been. But we've really done a great job in this economy with what we've had, and timing-wise, we've moved this along relatively quickly considering the scope and the complexity of some of the issues we're dealing with.
The design that came out of all of the public input sessions and working with all the stakeholders that Ray Gendros created really caught the imagination of everyone. It met everyone's needs and the overall goals of maintaining the waterfront for the people. And if you look at the perimeter of this project, all of it is public open space. You can walk 360 degrees around this property and never be encumbered along the waterfront. It's open, it's a huge park space where people can go and gather and enjoy not only Pensacola, but Pensacola Bay in one of the most amazing waterfront settings that we've seen. We've got the multi-use stadium on the property, the Maritime Museum in a prominent location it's just going to draw so many people there when it's created. And then we've kept the private development all north of that, so that the easy access for traffic, people getting in and out, coming to offices, are all in an attractive location along Main Street, which is the major thoroughfare, but they're not packing into the south area.
The Maritime Museum is such an interesting project, and the possibilities are really, I know it's a trite phrase, but they're really endless. We have such a rich historical past. Everything that came to America, to this new country, came by sea. We, as one of the oldest cities in the United States, certainly can tell that story better than anybody else. Because cities from the ocean were laid out in a certain way, just the way the Spanish laid them out in Spain, the way the British who later came out, and the British governor actually put together our streets and things. This area has a story to tell, not only just for Pensacola, but for all of America, because this is the way America was formed.
As we talked about earlier with the synergy of the Community Maritime Park, each piece coming together to make a whole that's greater, everyone really has focused on the multi-use stadium as the primary attractor to bring people to this site that, first of all, will create a lot of foot traffic, but when you're going to an event at this type of facility, it's more than just that event. You want to do something prior and something post. So you will come down and go to dinner at a restaurant and then simply walk across the street to the multi-use facility. And then afterwards you'll walk the promenade and you'll go to the restaurants and bars and entertainment venues on the site. And that really is going to become a central hub for our community, a place to meet up and bring everyone together.
When the New Markets program was first introduced to the city and to CMPA, the thought then was, let's use this money toward the museum, because the university, of course, cannot come up with that kind of money in these current economic times. Well, of course, over the evolution of it, the university discovered that operationally, as well as for the additional monies that needed to build it, it was not the right time, and I respected that decision. So then what do we do with the benefits of the New Market tax credits? We put it back into a lot of the amenities and enhance existing parts of the project to make it that much better. So through the evolution of the project, the concept remained the same, a very nice redevelopment of downtown, but having in place the infrastructure and the amenities to draw additional economic stimulus to downtown. But the main hard asset that the investors look toward in the project, of course, is the major structure of the project, which happens to be now the stadium. And it's very important to the investors that there's something tangible down there that creates the impact they're looking for.
What's on the discussion today that we've all heard about around in the community is the idea that let's replace this stadium with something else. I don't believe you can stop, engineer, create, do, and build anything that meets the time commitments of the New Market tax credits. So any departure from the path that we've started puts the New Market tax credits at risk.
Well, I tell you, people get caught up in just this baseball park, but I see it as a multi-use park. We all have the opportunity to go down to Disney and look at the AAU and the USSS, all the tournaments that they run on the Disney campus. And it's not because it's a baseball field or a football field, but it's a multi-use facility. So we're going to be able to have concerts. We're going to be able to bring our Little League football team and participate in Little League football in a nice stadium, and grandmother and grandfather and these kids get the opportunity to play Little League football on the water. We'll be able to recruit great baseball tournaments, that bring thousands of dollars in head tax and bed tax, because these little teams want to go to great facilities like we see in St. Pete, like we see in Dallas, Texas, like we see in Orlando. So I mean, I think that this is going to be great, not just for the Pelicans, and I'm excited about the Pelicans, but I'm more excited about what it's going to do for young people.
In looking at the design and the flexibility we've built into the multi-use stadium, it would have been simpler just to build a baseball facility for a single purpose. The operation and maintenance costs would be a lot lower because you only use it for baseball games and that's it. You shut it down the rest of the time. It just sits there occupying all of that space. You'd probably have more seats in the facility because you wouldn't have to configure for that lengthy football field, which really kind of eats up a lot of space. It changes the dimensions. So it would have been easier to do just a baseball stadium, but first and foremost, that's not what the community wanted. That's not what Quint Studer wanted, and that's not what we're delivering.
I am tired of hearing my friends that in order to have a good time, you have to go to Destin or Orange Beach, Mobile or Atlanta. Those things can happen right here in Pensacola, and this is our chance.
The new market tax credits are such a blessing. Who would have thought that we would get over $11 million, which is basically the budget for the stadium, free money from the federal government. And Ed Gray has been as patient as anyone could be, making sure that we closed on that deal. It has closed, we have the money. We've got some very strict time restraints as far as getting the park done to be able to keep the money. So that's part of what's going to ensure that it gets done on time in 2011.
The bond issue that the city is moving forward with will not be funded by the taxpayers of Pensacola. Only the businesses and entities that are in the Community Redevelopment Agency downtown will actually pay for the bonds to be paid. So if you live in the north end of town or anywhere else in the city, not $1 of your tax funds are going to be used to pay for this bond issue.
The funding for the Maritime Park, the $40 million bonds have been issued, and they sold out in about 7 hours. It shows the strength of this project. The financial institutions that sell these bonds, they do their homework. These are New York-based companies and very wise, very shrewd investors. They've done their homework on this project, and the bonds were sold immediately when they were put on the market. The new market tax credits, that opportunity came to us to add an additional $12 million to this project, and the investors saw the project, evaluated it, and said, absolutely, that's where we want to put our money. And I think the strength of that is that there's no taxpayer money in this project. We often get asked why it's taken so long to get under construction, and there's really two main areas that have caused, I won't call them delays, it's just they are what they are, and it takes amount of time to overcome these challenges. The first is the permitting process. This is an environmentally contaminated site. We do want to make it open to the public where you can go there and enjoy it. So we have to make sure it's safe. So the environmental remediation is a very important aspect of this. So the environmental permitting process, we applied for permits in August of 2007 and we received the permits in January of 2009. That's a year and a half just in the permitting process. And then we had the process prior to that of creating the design criteria, which is the overarching rules and regulations of what we want the project to look like. The Maritime Park being such a unique development on Pensacola Bay, we wanted to make sure it fit in with the fabric of our 450-year-old community. And so we looked at the various architectural elements, design elements, and then we pulled those that were most reflective of Pensacola into a criteria package that no matter who builds on the project, they have to follow that pattern book.
When we think about the future of this park, you should think of this as the seed for our downtown. Once this seed is planted, our city will just grow and property values will grow. You'll see the redevelopment of the Main Street sewage treatment plant. You'll see an increase in development on the west side of Pensacola. You'll see businesses come downtown because that's where the activity is. Businesses follow dollars. Dollars come from people, and that's why this park is important to our downtown.
We're starting to see it evolve and change, and it's going to be amazing to watch it come out of the ground with the Community Maritime Park and the multi-use stadium and the public park down there, to where I can say, you know, meet me after work across the street. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
I think the Community Maritime Park is important for our community. I think it'll be a catalyst for growth. I think it'll be a catalyst for our business to drive people downtown, to attract people to downtown, and be another asset on our waterfront for our community.
This project is going to revitalize downtown Pensacola, which is going to benefit the whole coastal community.
The Community Maritime Park is going to have a tremendous economic impact on our community. First of all, $52 million construction project. That's putting Pensacola to work today. The next economic impact is once it's built, the amount of jobs that you will create. The master developer has an obligation to build 30,000 square feet per year for 10 years, starting at the date of completion of the infrastructure. So we'll see 300,000 square feet of office, restaurant, commercial, mixed use, residential coming into the Pensacola market and putting people to work. And then, you know, that money just ripples through the community. If we're spending it locally with local companies and creating jobs here for Pensacolians.
And it's going to spark other opportunities in areas close to the park. It'll increase the property values, there'll be more tax revenues for the city government, the local government, and so it's just got a mushroom effect of possibilities for the area.
These are the types of win-win situations that communities all across our country look for, that involve the private sector and the public sector. But this is significant private money that Quint Studer could go put in any other community around this country. Communities all around this country reach out to Quint, trying to entice him, to attract them. But he's married to our community because he loves it. And that kind of commitment is so rare and so valuable for our community.
I think this park will be an opportunity for young people who otherwise would not come downtown and make this home, that this park will make that available. With our mixed use opportunity that's going to become available after the full development of the park, was one of the reasons that I thought it was just a win-win. As we travel to New Orleans and Charlotte and DC and other major cities, we would see the mixed use, people riding bikes, people walking the dog, young people jogging, getting off work, enjoying not only a great work environment, but a nightlife to keep this community vibrant and keep the lights on past 5 o'clock. And so that's what excited me about this opportunity, and the opportunity that this project was going to serve as a model. And that was a model for people of all walks of life to come together, because I felt that our community for too long has been really segmented and separated. But the Maritime Park was something that I thought that brought young people with vision together.
The reason I got involved with the campaign for this park originally was because I have 3 kids. My wife and I both had to move away from Pensacola once we graduated from college for better opportunity. This is our chance to do something that will potentially keep jobs here in Pensacola, provide opportunities for them so that they don't necessarily have to move away to find a good job. If they want to stay in home, there'll be jobs for them.
Since I came on the board, I've now got a son, so I can relate to what my parents have been saying a whole lot better now, that I want him to be able to come back here someday. I love that I can be close to my family and blessed to have a job here, but so many people don't have that opportunity. And with what this park could do to the area, we could see a huge exponential growth in our economy that could bring more people home, create more jobs, and that's what I want for my son in 20 years.
We knew Pensacola was this shining star. We'd lived so many places, but when we came to Pensacola, it was not only the beautiful beaches and the lovely weather, but the people of Pensacola sell Pensacola. Jack believed in the people of Pensacola, and he knew that if he was concerned, of course, that if the museum was going to be there by itself, it may be a blighted area that would have very few people coming to it. But with the addition of stores, of restaurants, when he was able to get the Trader John memorabilia, he said, we'll put that in that museum, that will be the restaurant. McGuire can do those design work for that restaurant. And then when Quint brought that to the table, this wonderful idea for a concept for a downtown park atmosphere using the ballpark as its string, I tell you, he was so excited about it. He saw the vision. And Jack was, in many ways, he was a visionary, but he was also a very practical man. And he understood that this is going to be good for economic development, for tourism, and for his aviation museum.
Something happened systemically when the Maritime Park started incubating and growing. It gave us a signal. It gave us that shining light at the end of the tunnel going, you know what? It is a new day. Things can be different. People are looking above and beyond what's in front of them and innovating.
This park already has changed our city in ways that will never be imagined. For instance, my wife ended up running for city council because of the passion for Pensacola that this referendum unlocked inside of her and her desire for our kids to have more opportunity. This flowed through every district. We had city councilmen that had never run before. We had moms getting involved. This already has changed Pensacola, and we haven't even built the park yet.
It really has been an honor for me to be a part of this project going on 4 years now, and to see it coming out of the ground finally after all the challenges that we've been through, after all the questions which, quite honestly, they needed to be asked. But they've been answered to everyone's satisfaction. The guarantees are in place. No one has changed a single promise. Everything that was promised in Ray Gindo's design is there today in the current design. And it really is exciting on a personal level to see that property that's been looming out my window every day change into really the jewel we want it to be right on Pensacola Bay.
There's something for everyone in this park, and not only that, the potential for jobs and the potential for growth in this park really serves as something that should just motivate everyone. And it's not just for city residents, it's for the county residents. And I look far beyond it happening just for Escambia County and in Northwest Florida. But I mean, I can envision people coming from Louisiana, Texas, having festivals, having celebrations, coming in the city of Five Flags being the great city. Vince Webb said, you know, this is a city where thousands live and millions wish they could. And I think that this is what this park does. It makes the millions that Vince Webb's one of the founders and one of the visionaries of this, it makes his words come true today. They ring loud and they sound loud, and millions will wish that they could live here as they visit this Maritime Park. And that's the future that I see, and I think that's the impact that this park will have, not only on our community, but it will have an impact on our entire community.
We are going to build it.
Paid for by Friends of the Waterfront Park, PC.